G'day, my name's Allan. I grew up here bombing skateboards on Hillary Heights with my older brothers and eventually my younger sister. It was one of those classic 80s neighbourhoods where you lived outside and you jumped over the fence and lived as much in your neighbour's house as you did in your own. Then I went to St Mary's, Campion College, and did that normal thing of leaving Gisborne, going beyond the gorge to learn how to use computers. Thought they might be kind of a big deal. Turns out they were. And then we returned. I was one of those that returned in COVID times, dare I say it. And we've been here, that's me and now my 3 children, just quietly working away, quietly for me at least. Priscilla maybe not so much, if you know, you know. Quietly working away in our community. Looking at my family, I kind of ask myself that every day. Growing up there was this giant A on the J.S. Allan's building. That was a business my dad owned. It was like a giant @ symbol on Grey Street. Maybe it was prophetic really to have this big @ symbol in the 80s. We go on to use it all the time. But that memory of that giant A is sort of burned in my memory now, which is good because now there's just a big giant hole where that building used to be, and that's pretty sad. So on a personal reason, I could say that I'm doing this for my dad. One last thing, to make him proud, and my children. But really, they're representative of the broader population I'm doing this for. The elderly and young people. Our elderly are worried about them, and our young people need a future. And without trying to be the Debbie Downer in the room, we're in a system that's making most families poorer, and it's making our governments poorer too. And I don't see much coming from successive governments to change that trajectory. And there's a thing I read just yesterday that really stood out for me, and it was fall in love with the problem, not the solution. And that's why I want to do this and stand for really a new abundance that's built on place and not things. So if I was to capture that hope for a new abundance built on place, I'd have 3 priorities. One is pride of place, 2 is a place worth staying in and a place worth returning to, and the 3rd one is a self-sufficient and resilient place. So if I think about that first one, there's this feeling that you can't really get when you're in your home. You definitely don't get it when you're in your car, and you get this kind of poor facsimile of it when you're online. And it's this deep sense of pride that you get about when you're feeling like you're part of something bigger, where you feel like you belong. And for me, you really only feel it when you walk in it, when you cycle in it, when you float on it, when you're talking to shopkeepers in it, and it's this deep sense of pride of place. And if I think about that from a practical perspective, I really want to help foster this sense of outdoor recreation and active mobility. So what we can do as a council to support that. And the council's got to be like a project enabler for this. And sometimes that means getting out of the way to allow things to happen. And for those that are careless about our natural environment and our built environment, I think we just got to uphold a social contract that makes sure they're doing the right thing. And as for a place worth staying in and a place worth returning to, we've got some real wealth here, and we need to use that. And so that could be private wealth, it could be iwi trusts, public trusts. We've got to really lean on them to invest in these sort of long-term initiatives community building, placemaking and higher education, so our rangatahi really see a future here. And as for a self-sufficient and resilient place, well, there's some practical things there, like it should actually feel worthwhile to catch your own water off your roof, not just for your own resiliency, but financially it should feel better to do that. There's a lot of complaints about our crumbling roads. They cost the council a lot of money, and really the only way that we can reduce that cost is to have some active alternatives to the heavy use of them at the moment. And something else I'd really love to see is this, like a really great reuse hub, so that we think of going to this place before we go to some big box retail, so that we've got much more sharing, and other person's trash is another person's treasure, that sort of thing. And one initiative I'd address immediately is half in jest, but I'd like to establish a happy hour where you can come and air your grievances at my local. The only condition is that the first round's on you. Yeah, so probably have to say that with a dunga of a house that we've been doing up and prioritising family since I've been here, I've kept a pretty low profile. And that's perhaps maybe a bit like how I am anyway. I like to listen and observe, unless it's coaching on the sidelines. But I have become a really strong voice at EIT where I work, advocating for really holding on to programs that we have here, trying to find out ways to grow them, because I just see it as really important. And part of that, I'm one of the regional presidents of the Tertiary Education Union, so I can take that fight for our place to Wellington, and I've done that loudly, reminding them that we're the only tertiary provider out here, so it's super important. And also through my work at EIT and supporting interns, we've even got one here at Rangai, which is really neat, and our researchers that I'm building out those industry connections, really looking for ways that we can use technology or otherwise to get our awesome businesses up the value chain. And I'm not afraid to say that I've sort of returned to my St Mary's parish and recently, and I'm just finding the compassion and the care and the service that comes through in the sermons there really valuable. So you remember that first part of COVID where it was actually really nice and we really appreciated how we had each other, how we cared for each other. I had this feeling of, I've got what I need right here. So mostly I want to get that feeling back. And so 10 years I can see Tairāwhiti as this super resilient, super focused on its community well-being. So much so that from the outside looking in, they just marvel at what a place they have out here, how lucky we are, and they wonder what's in our clean water. Okay, so I've spent most of my career mingling in executive circles and doing a pretty good job in it. But deep down inside, I've always felt like this working class warrior that just wears middle class costumes. So once a weekend hits, I kind of cosplay as a tradie, put on my cactus outdoor pants and try and fix things and build things. So I'm not really looking at this as a contest of me versus them. It's really just me trying to get selected for the team. And I'm really stoked that there's a whole bunch of candidates that I think you should vote for. I just hope that when you're making that selection that I'm selected in that team, because what we do need is like a council that works as a team. So it's greater than the sum of its individuals. So it's a team that passes really well together, and it's a team that celebrates the assists and not just the individual goals. And so I'm a good reader of the game, and I reckon I'm a good centrist midfielder in that team.